SEC championship from the first Saturday in December as LSU captures the crown 37-10. Tigers moving on to a national semifinal. They would move on to face Oklahoma in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium there in Atlanta. But that Saturday versus Georgia, Jacob, really, I thought that was LSU's most complete game. Offensively, typical LSU up to that point, as we expected. At this point in the season, LSU racked up 481 yards. That was the most, obviously, that Georgia's defense had given up all season. Georgia was one of the top defenses in the country going into that game, and they had abandoned everything that they did to get there to that point. I mean, they tried to recreate the Auburn 7 defensive back look, dropping the 7 and trying to confuse Burrow, and it just never was able to happen. I thought defensively, LSU played as complete of a game as they did that day, and that was the day that I came to realize that Jake Fromm was just done. Really done as a quarterback. I mean, so surprised to see him leaving Georgia. I think that he could have used maybe 4 more years in Athens. I just don't think that he's NFL ready, and especially after that Saturday and the LSU defense confusing him and constantly applying pressure. I thought that in a season that featured 15 wins and all 15 of them impressive in their own right, that this was probably the most impressive and most complete game that they played.
This team had a different confidence about them all year long, but in this game, it went up. And it went up for the rest of the season. And you could tell in the prep work and going to practice that week, this was going to be different. They had something to prove, especially offensively, right? They heard about Georgia's defense being number 3 in the country. They heard about Kirby Smart and what he was going to do as far as a game plan. And the offense, let's just call it like it is. They played pissed off, and they prepared to play like that as well. It was a lot of fun to watch. Being there on the sideline, Georgia never had a shot. There's nothing they could have done that affected what LSU wanted to do. I remember when Joe, I think it was either the first or second touchdown, he comes off on the sideline. He said, "Oh, yeah, we're like that."
Yeah.
And just kept saying it over and over again because he's like,
a long day.
Yeah, we're coming, right? And it's not going to stop. I don't care who you have. I don't care who's calling the defensive plays. We're going to do exactly what we want to do here, and they did. Like, that's a game that LSU, if they wanted to score 50, could have scored 50. They wanted to score 60, and they went for it, maybe they could have, right? It just felt like no matter what they did, it was going to work out, and it was a fun game to be a part of, to be on the sideline, to see a team like Georgia know that we could give this our best shot. We can have the best game plan that we possibly could have, and there's not a damn thing we can do to slow the Tigers down. It's a good feeling.
Burrow, 28 of 38 on the day for 349 and 4 scores. It also featured another Heisman moment from Burrow in the SEC title game. This is the game that featured the scramble, keeping the play alive, spinning out of the rush, finding Justin Jefferson down the sideline. 74 yards later, Jefferson was tackled inside of the red zone. One play later, Terrace Marshall for a score. That's when Burrow just flicks it into the Atlanta air and starts running towards the LSU sideline, knowing that Marshall's going to complete the catch. That day, LSU connected, or Joe Burrow connected with 8 wide receivers on the day. Justin Jefferson led the way with 7 catches for 115. Jamar Chase had an opening drive touchdown. That was the opening drive where Smart and the Georgia defense gave Burrow, I believe, 11 seconds to throw, where he's just back there bouncing in the pocket, looking at wide receivers, staring down the field, directing traffic, scrambles to his left, spins out to his left, tells Jamar Chase to get to the corner and just flicks it into Jamar Chase's chest, into the end zone, into double coverage. And from that point on, I mean, it was whatever, like you said, whatever
they wanted.
I mean, actually, Burrow completed a pass to himself that day. So he batted one up into the air and caught it, and then 16 yards later, he picked up a first down. I mean, it was, like Jake said, I mean, it was anything that LSU wanted to do at any point in the game. It felt like they had full control over it. Even Blankenship, the Georgia place kicker, who before the game, all the Georgia fans were talking trash like he was their best player, missed 2 field goals on the day.
He didn't like playing LSU. He didn't have good days a couple years in a row against LSU.
He tried to fake that field goal in Tiger Stadium.
Oh, that
was bad. I mean,
that's bad ball.
Grant Delpit running. He was like, it felt like backyard tag. Like, where you going, buddy?
Yeah.
Where you gonna go? You can do anything. Cute. I'm gonna get you. I mean, Ogeron really has owned Kirby Smart.
Yes.
Owned him.
2 whippings.
Two.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, not even close. Like, hey, we've got the full control of this game the entire time.
Jake, you know what else I thought about? Last 20 years, outside of Oklahoma, because Oklahoma's had 3. That's you can bring down the music now. That the LSU-Georgia game, LSU just thrashed Georgia for the championship, for the SEC title that day. You wake up tomorrow morning, behind Oklahoma in the last 20 years, who's the school with the most number 1 quarterback draft picks?
It's going to be LSU.
Huh?
How about that?
Think about that. Think about what LSU's been selling at that position, how much they've been dirty recruited at that position from opposing schools. And tomorrow, Ogeron Insminger, who was with us in hour 1, will have the recruiting pitch that there's only one school behind Oklahoma that has developed 2 number 1 picks at quarterback. And it's LSU.
Just think
and
about
10 years of those was with your boy, Miles, running backs into the ground.
Just think about what they'll be able to recruit off of tomorrow, possibly.
No doubt.
Or tonight. It'll start tonight. Like, it won't even wait till tomorrow, right? Okay, first quarterback, okay, number 1 pick. And also, hey, our number 2 receiver went in the first round.
And
our number 2 guy.
And the number 1 receiver on the team potentially could be the number 1 pick next season.
If he does what he did.
And you know he's going to go when you get to him one-on-one, and we're talking about Jamar Chase. Chase a year from now. Now, look, Trevor Lawrence is probably going to be that guy, the number 1 pick. But Chase is going to be a talent, in my opinion, that is going to be in the discussion. That's going to have people talking about
even being in
whether
that discussion
or not
as a receiver.
as a wide receiver. I mean, it's special. And then you think 3 years down from tonight, right? So or 2 years from tonight. So next year you've potentially got somebody who's in the discussion as the number 1 pick. Today, I would say that Derek Stingley Jr. is the projected number 1 pick of the 2022 draft. You know, like
if it happened today, he would be.
Who's the best sophomore quarterback in college football right now? Trevor Lawrence is going to be next year's number 1 pick.
Sam Howell, North Carolina.
Okay. So a quarterback down the line would be the argument, but I got to imagine that pro scouts and decision makers and owners are looking at Stingley and saying, there's Dion. There's a guy that can take away a side of the field for the next 12 years if we want him to.
How about Bo Pelini said there's some untapped stuff there still.
We didn't even
it's like, wait a minute,
surface.
what? What's still left?
I love it, man.